Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to do the topic of natural monopoly. Last time we were talking about monopoly is a market structure where we find single seller and many buyers. Most of the time we consider that monopolist is always earning supernormal profit, either he is doing the price discrimination or not. He is not in the favor of the consumers, rather he is working for himself to maximize his supernormal profit. Always he tries to maximize his supernormal profit. Do you think monopolist can be good for the society? His practices, are they good for the society as well? Sometimes we find a natural monopoly case which is not going to move into against the consumer interest, but he will be rather increasing the consumer welfare. Okay, and he can compete the foreign firms as well, as he is going to enjoy the natural monopoly case. Natural monopoly is a case when a firm is having higher fixed cost of production than the variable cost of production. More proportion of fixed cost is there in the total cost. Suppose we say we are having total cost which is sum of the fixed cost and variable cost. If fixed cost is 80% of the total cost, whereas the variable cost is only 20%. This is the operating cost, you can say. All other cost of production is about the fixed cost of production. So when more of the fixed cost is there in the total cost of production, more proportion of total cost is comprised of fixed cost of production, then this firm will be called a natural monopoly. Why do we say it is natural monopoly? It is because as this firm starts to produce output and it is continuously increasing the output, its per unit cost of production will be continuously falling. As it produces more, I gave you the example. What is the shape of average fixed cost? If you remember, this is average fixed cost. Why? We say denominator is increasing but the fixed cost remains fixed. So as we produce more, per unit fixed cost is continuously declining. Okay? So when most of the cost of production is including fixed cost of production, therefore average total cost will be continuously falling. Average total cost, the per unit cost of production will be falling. Suppose Government of Pakistan has constructed a dam, so at the start of its production operation, its per unit cost was quite high. Now after 40 years, 55 years, what happens? Now they are producing more quantity. So the per unit cost of production of this firm is continuously declining. That's why we say it is a natural monopoly case whenever we find that fixed cost of production is more proportion of total cost, and due to more production of this product, the per unit cost of production is continuously falling. One more thing I want to explain to you, that is, if you remember, what is the shape of average total cost, normal average total cost? Keep it in mind. This is what? This is average total cost, and marginal cost is lying below the average cost whenever average cost is falling. This is the cost relationship. When average cost is falling, marginal cost is below the average cost. And when average cost is at minimum, it is intersected by the marginal cost from its minimum point. Alright? And when average cost is increasing, marginal cost is higher than average cost. Isn't it? Alright. Now see what happens in case of natural monopoly. I want to explain very key point in this diagram. What is the key point over here? in case of natural monopoly, when average cost is declining, marginal cost will be lying below the average cost. The same thing I explained to you. This is what average cost is decreasing, marginal is below it. Until unless average cost goes to its minimum point and it starts increasing, then it will be intersected by the marginal cost. And we don't find any point where average cost will be intersected from its minimum point by the marginal cost. Average cost is continuously falling. So marginal cost will remain below the average cost in this case. So this is a natural monopoly case. Due to more fixed cost of production, the downward pull of the average cost is continuously declining. It is not going to face any what we say diseconomies of scale, or we say the diminishing returns of the variable factor, because average cost is having more proportion of this average fixed cost. Alright. So this is the case of natural monopoly. As we are producing more output, average cost will further decrease. Because once the setup is made, now you are continuously producing more output, therefore average cost is declining. The firm is enjoying what? Long run economies of scale. Alright. Now if we say this is the demand curve of this natural monopolist firm, which is equal to average revenue. Now if we draw a marginal revenue over here, this is the marginal revenue case. If this firm is profit maximizing, where will it produce? At the point where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. Alright? And it will be setting price along the demand curve to one supermarket profit. But the natural monopolist is not profit maximizing firm. It is providing benefit to the people of the country, and it produces at the point where marginal cost pricing can be charged. Instead of this point, please be attentive, instead of this profit maximizing point, it increases the output to the point where marginal cost is intersecting the demand curve or average revenue. It is going to charge this price from the people. Price is equal to marginal cost. It is adopting marginal cost pricing.
Allocative efficiency.
Yes, allocative efficiency. So you can find over here one more thing. What is that? At this production level, its average cost is lying above its average revenue. Like yesterday we were talking about when firm was having some type of profit and it was involved in price discrimination. Now see, at this production level where marginal cost pricing is charged by this natural monopolist, it is facing average cost higher than average revenue. You can say this firm is a loss. Okay? We say this firm is charging marginal cost pricing. It is setting price equal to marginal cost. Where this loss will be covered? That we now want. The firm is setting the fixed charges from every customer. If you see your electricity bill, they are having this pricing strategy, but at the same time they are charging some line rent of the meter. Some fixed charges are present in our electricity bill. So this loss, which is present at this marginal cost pricing, that can be covered by the fixed charges by the natural monopolist. They are having some kind of fixed charges. If you buy a billing phone, your cellular services, they are providing you a billing phone. They say, if you give us 500 line rent, we will provide you these facilities. They reduce the car charges rate because you are giving them fixed line rent. So line rent charges, they are fixed. Meter charges, they are fixed. So any loss which was present at marginal cost pricing, that can be covered by the fixed charges applied by the firm. They show that they are having lower prices charged by the firm from its customers. Follow my point? So natural monopoly, as we see, it is having downward sloping longer than average cost of production. As it produces more, it happens that it will be able to reduce its per unit cost of production. So when it reduces its per unit cost of production, it will be charging price equal to the marginal cost of production. It is not producing at the profit maximizing level of output, rather it produces where price or demand is intersected by the marginal cost. Okay? You can also find here most of the demand curve area is present. They can have any pricing policy for different customers. Prices can be different, like for lower users they are having lower prices, for higher users they can have different prices from different customers. They can discriminate as well, and they are doing in case of natural monopoly. But usually that if they have only the single price, then that is highly beneficial for the consumers and for the producers, because it will increase the competitiveness, the price competitiveness or cost competitiveness of our goods, and we will be able to have less prices than the rest of the world, and our exports can be increased if we are having lower prices for our electricity charges, especially for the commercial uses where production of exports is taking place. Alright. So natural monopoly, basically it is a firm which is having more fixed costs. I said to you that dam can be constructed within 10 years or 15 years. So for 15 years that government has to pay the fixed cost, and later on when they start producing electricity, so what happens, once dam is constructed, now we are having the operating cost of opening the spillovers for the water, and some other people they are working to look after the operation of electricity production. So less, we are having very less production, very less variable cost of production, whereas the fixed cost was already paid. So as the time passes, year after year, its per unit cost will be declining. That is natural. You can say PTCL is also having the natural monopoly. Once they have made a digital exchange or fiber optic exchange, now there is no running or operating cost. It works itself. Now what competitive prices they can offer to the customers, that's their natural monopoly. No one can compete the natural monopoly case. And usually they are held by the public sector rather than by the private sector. So this natural monopolist, if he is having exorbitant profit, supernormal profit, he can compete the foreign firms as well. Within country and out of the country, some firms are coming to compete this. He can use the limit pricing or predatory pricing policies in order to kick out the new firm from the competition. Alright. So natural monopolist can be beneficial to the country in the form of lower per unit cost and lower prices charged by the firm from its customers. And it can spend money on research and development to innovate new products and new methods of production for itself and for other firms as well. Okay? So natural monopoly is beneficial. Now if I ask you, this topic is finished. If I ask you, can you compare the similarities and differences between a perfectly competitive firm and monopolist? Can you compare? What are the similarities of the two firms? One similarity is that both are dealing in the production of goods. They are not in the services sector or in labor market. They are producing the goods. What else is there?
Both work for profit maximization.
Both are having profit maximizing level of same. In order to maximize profit, they will be producing at the point where marginal revenue equals to marginal cost of production. Another thing, price of both the firms is equal to average revenue. there can be difference in case of perfectly competitive firm, price will also be equal to minor revenue. But in case of monopolist, we don't have the equality of price with the minor revenue. Alright? Both firms can earn supernormal profit. Like during short term, perfectly competitive firm can also earn different types of profit, supernormal, subnormal, and normal. Okay? So these can and they are operating in the market. Now what are when both have the same shutdown point, when price is equal to or minimum is equal to or below the average minimum point of the average variable cost. That is the shutdown point which is same for both the firms. You can find other similarities as well, but there are more differences. A perfectly competitive firm does not face the market demand curve which is downward slope. It is an insignificant part of the total market, therefore it faces perfectly elastic demand. And that is price taker, monopolist is price setter. And monopolist is facing what? Downward sloping but inelastic demand. The products are similar to each other in case of perfect competition, but in case of monopoly, there is a unique product which is produced by the firm. Alright? And monopolist is having minor revenue twice steeper than the average revenue. Sorry, point bata. Minor revenue will be twice steeper than the average revenue. Alright? It is inside.
Because of the demand.
The demand is downward sloping. So it is having steeper minor revenue. And on the other hand, we can find the productive efficiency can be achieved in case of perfectly competitive firm during the long run. And they are also charging minor cost pricing. Whereas monopolist is not producing at the minimum point of its average cost, and he is not setting price equal to marginal cost, the normal monopoly is. But in case of natural monopoly, he can set price equal to the marginal cost. Okay, so efficiency conditions, what happens in the long run? In long run, all perfectly competitive firms in competition, they are having normal profit to earn. Whereas in case of monopoly, he is always earning supernormal profit even in the long run. Alright. So these are different points, similarities and differences between the two firms. You can also find other points with respect to the diagrams. You have to draw the diagrams as well. And the whole case is given in your book as well. So you can find these things because most of the time we are finding a question in which they say explain and discuss the similarities and differences between perfectly competitive firm and a monopolist. So we must be able to understand what to write during your exam. So it is better to do this topic at home and show it to me whether you are able to differentiate between these two firms or not.
In monopoly, there are two types, right? The natural monopoly and
You can say this. We have two types of monopolies, like one is called normal monopoly case and another which is a beneficial one, that is called natural monopoly. Alright? So that's all about monopoly case, and by tomorrow if you are coming, then we will be having a monopolistic competition. Hopefully inshallah on Monday we will be having it. Monopolistic competition. If you don't mind, you don't have class on Monday as well. So we can have a test on Tuesday if you agree upon. It is too lengthy chapter. No matter.